I'm Mike Emler, CrazySharp, and this is the Srm Asika. And this is the knife we're going to look at. But first, here comes that 4.5 second logo. So I thought you guys needed to see kind of that spinny intro because this is an attractive knife, and this is from a company I have not heard of before. This is SRM. Stay ready for more. And if this knife is any indication, I'm ready. So this has been the first day in pockets. This came from Jared a while back. You guys probably remember seeing the unboxing, and I was kind of impressed with it, and it fell into a pile in the back of my shelf for review, and it kind of got overlooked. And now I'm getting back to doing the full reviews and stuff on some of these videos or knives. I threw this in my pocket this morning. So everything you're going to see is based on first day in pocket. This is truly the first time I've carried it. It is out and for use. The only other time it's been out was for, I think, just the unboxing video. So this is a nice looking knife. We're going to look at some of the pros and cons that I found first day in carry. It is not new, so you're going to see there is some scuffing and shine on this bead blasted glass, bead blasted titanium scale. That's not anything for manufacturing, so let's not hold that against it. So yeah, let me grab a couple things for size comparison. First of which is going to be the Benchmade 940. As you can see, they're it's very much larger than the 940, which the 940 is not a huge knife. It's a full-sized EDC, but it is a relatively large knife. So the next knife we're going to see for size comparison is the Spyderco Endura, which is a relatively large knife. They're fairly similar in overall length and everything. This does have a broader blade. And the last one, of course, is going to be the Chris Reeves Sebenza, which is a little bit smaller. So this is a fairly good sized knife. I like to use this one because most people know the size of a Sebenza because it's a really, really well-known knife. So yeah, it's really similar in size to the Sebenza. It's closer in size to the Endura. So there you go. It's a pretty large knife. Let's get this out of the way. And let's talk about what has been a really fun knife so far today. So this is a knife that I had never heard of the company. It's got some pretty cool features to it as far as looks in the looks department. It's got a very nicely ground blade. I don't know anything about the company. I don't know price points. So if you see this, don't expect this to be a full review. This is in 14C28N. This is the Srm Asika. That is A-S-I-K-A, Asika. And I'm basing that on Japanese pronunciation because I's make the E sound. It is a titanium frame lock with, like I said, 154 cm. Americanized Tonto blade with a nice rounded front. You don't have a definite line, so that is just only in a grind. So if you wanted to sharpen that out and just make this much more like a true Japanese Tonto, you absolutely could. Nice swedge on this. In hand, it is really nice and well balanced. It's fairly light. I haven't looked, but it does not appear to have any material removed to lighten it. It's just a pretty skinny, light knife. Frame lock with a fairly decent pocket clip. It's not the greatest, but the narrowness of the blade seems to make it not such a hot spot. It does have a lanyard hole in the backspacer on the outside. That's another way of doing it that I don't dislike as much. If this was mine, I would probably just grind that off, but then you'd lose this jimping. But this jimping so far does not feel very good. It could be removed and you wouldn't lose anything. There's no real, that's kind of vestigial. Which is a big fancy word, but it doesn't really have a purpose at that point. It's just there for looks. Really good milling. I like this hardware has not just your pivot collar, all of your hardware has collars, with the exception of this. The action on it, really, really good so far. It was pretty heavily oiled. There was a good bit of oil coming out of it. So we'll see how that fares over time. But I know that Jared uses KPL like I do. So it could, yeah, I mean, I don't foresee it to lose its smoothness. You can see where the detent track comes over, and that could be where the grease is or the oil is coming from, is because you lubricate your detent ball and then it follows that track out. I'm not a big fan of that being so close that your detent ball is uncovered, and that's exactly what it is. It's where your detent ball drops in and you get that little bit of lubrication that's around the detent ball. that then coats that surface. So not such a big deal, but it's not something I truly like. Flipper tab on it's really good. Let's look at the centering. I oftentimes forget to show you guys what the centering looks like. Now, I don't know the price on this, but I would imagine it's in the budget range. It looks fairly well centered. It does appear to slightly, ever so slightly, favor the lock scale. Now, that could just be the optical illusion from the lock bar being in place, kicking in on it, but it does look like it just ever so slightly favors. So it's not 100% centered per my eyes. It looks like it's got a pretty good sharpening choil here, and all the machining and everything on it is done attractively well. There is a spot that I do have to point out. There is a little bit of a sharpness here. Now, it has been kind of chamfered. That's not where it's sharp, it's here. Where it feels sharp is right here where your milling pattern comes in, these little fillets comes down in. It is a little sharp there, but it's not like super uncomfortable. I've definitely had other knives that are much worse. Access to the lock bar seems to be pretty good. It is a little tight. I don't see a way for them to really rectify that because, the lock bar, the lockup is at about 50%. If this was another knife, like some of my other knives that was at like 25%, it might not be such a big deal. I don't foresee that 50% lockup being an issue. The action on it is snappy. The lock bar kicks over nice, good tension on that. Your detent, I don't feel much of any detent lash, maybe just some slight right before it pops open. You can make it fail if you just apply just the right amount of tension, but it is pretty good. As far as how it cuts, I haven't done much cutting with it, but it does cut pretty well. It's still got the factory edge on it, which is a little bit inconsistent from side to side. You can see there where the point, let's see, the point is not married up completely. If this was mine, I'm like 100% sure that I would just round that over. I would just sharpen that off and just make it more of a traditional styles Japanese blade where you had kind of a little bit of a flat and then that rounds over. I would have no problem with that. That would be something I would probably do because on these, a lot of times the edge winds up being a little inconsistent and then you get a dull spot right at that very point. And then you just wind up sharpening it over. A lot of times I will preserve that on a knife, but on this one, if it was mine, I probably would just do it. I had a K2 by Wee Knife Company, the K2 Tonto, and that's what I did on that. If I knew how much they were going to be worth, I wouldn't have done that, and I would never have sold it. So yeah, nice blade shape comes down, nice and piercing. There is a bit of asymmetry to the edge grind, as you can see there. So, this is not like, I guarantee this isn't the budget knife realm. Most of the stuff Jared does send me is in that realm. So, other features of it, it is nice and crowned, on the spine and on the flipper area. It's done really well. It's attractive. So what we're going to do is we're going to carry this for a couple more weeks or a few more days, however long it takes me to form a full opinion on it. Then I'll get the specs and we'll look at price and everything. But I am kind of surprised. I've never heard of this company. And for the first one of them I've seen, I kind of dig it. It's pretty well done. We'll see how it holds up. There's a lot of little bells and whistles here. Like I do like the way that looks. Even though I don't like lanyard holes, I like the way that pockets out and gives it kind of a look. I'm not such a big fan of the pocket clip, but it's adequate. And then finish on it is really good. Like I said, that little spot of shine that you see on it, I guarantee is from Jared using it and myself carrying it. It's just one of those things. So yeah, we'll get back around. We'll circle back around to this and we'll take a good close look at it. So let's turn this around, do some final thoughts, and send you out about your way. So there you go, guys. My first introduction to SRM knives, and I'm kind of impressed. We'll see how it pans out over the next, few days, maybe couple weeks. We'll see. I'm going to ask Jared what he thinks about the sharpening, because I may have to sharpen it. It does not feel super sharp at the moment, but overall, I'm kind of impressed with the buildup and quality. Like I said, these opinions change over time. If anything changes, I'll definitely keep you guys in a loop and make sure you guys know. But that's it on this one. Guys, if you like the videos, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give them a thumbs down. But please try to tell me why. I can't change the content if you don't tell me what you don't like. If you want to support the channel, it's as simple as like, share, subscribe, drop a comment, hit the bell icon. If you do hit the bell icon, make sure you've got notifications turned on your device. or you will not get notified of all the stuff that goes up on the channel. And if you do hit the bell icon, pick the one that suits you. There are a couple different options. There's one that gives you all notifications from YouTube of everything I put up. Other ways you can do it, I have affiliate links down below that support the channel directly. Anything you purchase with those affiliate links, it does not matter what you purchase. I make a little bit of money and it does not cost you guys anything at checkout. I have got a membership that is tier-based. Everyone has access to my gilded server. Premium and baseline tier members are automatically entered into a giveaway they do on the gilded server. And premium tier members have access to a sharpening tutorial series I've built for them here on YouTube. The only way you can access that is if you are a paying member. And the final way is I have a merchandise store on Ember Shirt Co. This is one of their in-house shirts. This is one of their in-house designs. They have my merchandise and other creators' merchandise that you can purchase at a 10% discount with my coupon code CrazySharp, capital C, capital S, CrazySharp. Saves you 10% at checkout. Guys, that's it on this one. I love you all. Keep it clean in the comment section. It makes it easier to moderate the channel. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. And I will see you in the next video.